church groupies are so real. We have them. We still have them. And it's crazy though, because we have some that like they only mess with certain members of our family.
They know who they can and can't talk to.
Well, and so I remember I was at an event. I'm trying not to get into too many specifics, but I was at an event a while back, and I remember a specific someone like said hi to like certain members of our family, but like I promise you, they just walked straight past me. Of course, they know who I am. Duh. Like They just walked straight past me. They didn't say hi. They didn't say nothing. So it's like you don't even care about me. You only care about getting to, Uncle Ray and Auntie Brenda and all them. Like you don't care about me. Like you just don't. So church groupies are definitely real. And if anything we just said struck a chord, you probably are a church groupie. And I don't know, pray about it.
I mean, I was about to say if you got convicted right there, then I'm sorry. Then you just realized that you were a church groupie, and it's just basically just stop it. Like
stop it. Stop showing up to stuff.
Stop it. Like don't. And I understand that and for me, I even understand when we call certain people to come. Like it's just like we make that blanket statement like don't come, don't. And unless a certain member of the family calls, then like and even if they call, like if they specifically tell you like I need you to be here with me during this, like that's something different to me. Versus like we call, we vent a bit and then like, oh thanks, and hang up, and then you just decide to like, oh they need me to come down. Like no, I just needed to talk to somebody that was just outside my family for a little bit, and then I was good, and then most likely I'll discuss this with my family. Like that was it. That was your moment.
It can get a little stalkerish too, because as the term I say a lot, like you're at the real federal, like you are the feds. Because how do you know where we are? How do you know that after church we're going to the Applebee's on South Kings Highway at 1:00? How do you know? How do you know that we are at St. Luke's Hospital in room 2614? How? How? We didn't tell you how.
Hey, nobody tell you where we were or what floor we were on and whatnot. All of a sudden, you just know, like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that's real stalkerish behavior. And of course, now mind you, of course, as kids, we don't know. Maybe our parents told them. I don't know. We don't know. But there's definitely times where I know.
I'm pretty sure there was. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there were some instances. I'm pretty sure they were few and far in between. Where there was just like, hey, you can come over and hang out and spend time with our family. Like I'm pretty sure. I'm not gonna say like every holiday wasn't like, but it was just like it was almost as it was like understood that we knew when it was. It's like the whole vibe of the house changes, and it's just like. We know when like, okay, it seems like they were like legitimately invited. Like, all right, cool. We're cool with this. Like we'll deal with it. We'll act accordingly, if you will. Or we'll just close the door. Often with the cousins, we just close the door, especially if it was at grandma and grandpa's house. We would go into the living room, we would close the door. But aside from that, we would all know, and it always happened. We would all know when you just showed up uninvited, like, or you invited yourself. So it's just like, oh, okay, so this is somebody who was definitely just invited themselves. And then for me, I mean, I've never been one to be able to, especially like becoming an adult, like I've never been one to effectively hide the way I feel, especially on my face. Like if I didn't want you here, you will see the annoyed John look. I can't even put it on because,
or the confused look. Like where did you?
Like what are you even doing here? Like, all right, cool. All right, somehow you're here. All right.
Showed up. And then it's always the people that show up that didn't bring nothing. You didn't bring no chip, no
and
soda,
then you want to
no
eat everything.
napkins. But you want to make 5 to go plates.
Right. Like,
Stop it.
dude,
Stop it.
could you please leave? Leave.
Yeah, so I mean, just no church groupies. Don't be a groupie. Like, I understand if you're cool with a member of the family, like
Yeah.
that's fine. If they called you over, fine. That's really not my business, I guess. But
Yeah.
I mean, but most of the time, we can tell when you just showed
And
up.
usually by the time, like in between the time that somebody says like you can come over and the time you get there, we all know that to some extent like somebody's coming over.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, just don't do it. Don't be a groupie. We know when you're just trying to be seen and just be known for hanging out with the Greens.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, and like I said, if anything that we said, like kind of hit the spot a little bit.
I'm sorry, but not
yourself.
sorry that you're
I'm not
offended.
sorry.
I'm sorry, but not sorry that you're
Do better.
offended. You encroached on my family time, and that's how I feel about it.
And that is a great segue to the next question. When did you feel like people encroached on your parents or family members? How much time do you have?
So one of the biggest things, like especially with my parents, especially when they were in over my parents were over that period between they were involved with youth into the singles into the marriage counseling and all the other stuff that they were into, like those were very like, and my parents did a very good job of being intentional about our family time. They really did. I remember as a kid, Friday nights were specifically our family time. Like no one was allowed over. No one even really called at that time or anything unless it was an absolute emergency. But for the most part, especially when we had plans for a particular day that wasn't on a Friday, and then somebody would call up, and then all of a sudden, either mom had to go somewhere now, or dad had to do something, or run down to the church, and it takes a bunch of time and different things like that. It happened a lot because all of the Greens were basically our parents were definitely a lot of the backbone of Metro, and especially in the early days.
Yeah.
Like Uncle Ray, Uncle Johnny, my dad. I mean, they were pulling like 80-hour weeks. Yeah, 80-hour weeks there.
Yeah.
And so you doesn't necessarily leave a lot of room for home life, which is essentially why we spent most of our time at church.
Yeah. Sleeping on pews,
sleeping while people praying over us and different things like that. And it's just like, I mean, most of the time I was able to spend with a good bit of the time. And I'm not upset about it or anything like that. I'm grateful for those times, like spending all those times at church with my parents, even watching them, while they preached and different things like that as they went about doing the work of the ministry. It's just sometimes it was just like, I don't necessarily want to do it all here. Like, can we go to Six Flags or something? Like,
can we go to McDonald's? Like,
I just kind of want to just chill with my family real quick, though. Like, and it was always like a call, like, or somebody wanting to come over and get counseling and different things like that. And I'm just like, as a kid, like, you called when I was having like
a bad day.
A moment with my parents, like as a family, like we were all sitting watching a movie, and then you called, and now they have to do it, and we don't even finish the movie for that night. Like that's just how it is sometimes. So it was just like, okay, all right, well.
Yeah. Do you feel like you resented that, or like if you did, who did you resent? Did you resent the person that called you, did you resent your parents? Like, who got the resentment, if there was any?
I can say, as a early on as a kid, there was a point where I resented mom and dad for becoming pastors and whatnot, for them going through all this, and I just wanted. As a kid, I was just like, I just want a regular life. I mean, I don't mind going to church. I love God and everything like that, but why do we have to be the ones that are the pastors and stuff like that? So there was a time I can say, like, I did resent it. It was very short, though. I remember it being very short, and then I was just like, the resentment didn't even necessarily move to the people. It moved, and if I had to be totally honest, it moved literally towards God. Like, why my family? Like, my family's great. Like, I'm just like, I get it. Like, my family's great. My family's powerful. But Lord, why the Green family though? And so it's just like, I guess for the most part, it's just like I just had to deal with it. And then, as growing into a teenager, the teenage years were even just as bad, especially when the resentment really hit when we moved. When we moved to Harrisburg, that was not. I never heard the stories of like how everybody took that as far as the rest of the Green family, because we were just so in our bubble of just me, Chris, and David, and our bubble of just being mad. Like, why did God send us to Harrisburg? Why did God call us to move away from everything we know and love in St. Louis all the way over to the East Coast? Like, what is this about? And so that's when the resentment really hit. And it wasn't even it wasn't towards my parents. It was towards God. Like, I don't want this. Like, I really don't want I don't want to be here. I don't know why you got us here. And I'm tired of this. It wasn't even until my later teens where it's just like I began to, as I accepted everything that happened, especially I think it was around 18 or 19. No, 18. It was around towards the end of high school that I began to just like, okay. I remember laying in the bed, staring up at the ceiling, which is how I usually talk to God. A lady gave me a perfect term for it. I had pillow talk with God, essentially. So I was staring up at the ceiling, and I'm just like, all right, God, what is this all about? Like, I'm mad. No, I don't want to be here. So I guess I can start walking this out for myself. So you can give me some clarity on what all this is about, because you clearly know I don't like this. So you're gonna have to prove yourself to me or something. And I really did. I just went there. I would always have I'm just gonna go there respectfully, but I'm gonna go there moments with God.
Yeah, I think something you said is interesting, which I feel like people don't realize, but just like, sometimes as kids, God calls you to move, and it's like, especially like when you've been in a certain place, or you maybe around family for all this time, and then God calls you to like the other side of the country, or sometimes even the other side of the world. Like, that's hard for a kid. That's very hard. But for me, like,